Well, hello, I'm John Gleason, the Godless Engineer, and tonight we're talking about Brett Keane and his opinion on atheist women. Let's cut right to Brett and see what he has to say.
See, I like to play video games. So, that's my computer controller. It's actually an Xbox One controller, but cool, it's compatible with my PC. The hardcore fact is that there's not a lot of women in the atheism movement or group. They're usually older guys or little teenagers and shit like that. There's a few women out there that are popular on the internet that are in atheism, like Lacey Green, and there was a young lady a while back called Oh My God, who doesn't often put up videos anymore.
I would like to just stop him right there for 1 second. The demographics of atheism, true, are more so on the newer, younger people that are coming up because they're actually being exposed to this thing. But also, a lot of the middle 20s and 30s, late 30s, and everything. I mean, you have a wide range of ages. Now, as far as gender goes, there are a lot more guys that are an atheist rather than girls. I will give them that. But I'm not sure where he's going with making that statement. It seems like a nonsensical thing to say.
And as I said, there's Jaclyn Glenn, but Jaclyn Glenn isn't really highly respected by the supposed intellectuals of atheism because he plagiarizes the males.
Okay, yeah, Jaclyn Glenn did have some plagiarism problems. As far as I know, she's learned her lesson, and I don't think that she's going to be doing that anymore. And I mean, I say that because she hasn't really been putting out a lot of content on her atheist channel. Really, she's put out a little bit of content, but not much, not what it used to be. So I don't know if she just doesn't feel comfortable enough to post anymore, or maybe she just doesn't have enough original ideas anymore. People were saying where she was getting her content from. I don't know, but let's see where he's going to go with Jaclyn Glenn.
She couldn't come up with an idea if it sat on her face and wiggled its balls on her chin.
Do you like how he's like looking up in a way like that? It's almost like he's imagining his balls on Jaclyn Glenn, which I know kind of makes you puke a little bit thinking about Brett King's balls.
I personally think that she's an upside down mop beanpole.
All right, was I the only one that imagined Jaclyn Glenn upside down being used as a mop? I don't think I was, but wow, Brett, that's a little harsh, isn't it? Just because somebody doesn't live up to your standards, you got to compare them to an inanimate object, one that's used to clean up the mess of others. Really?
But it is what it is. I've always found women who are, how shall I say, bigger or chunkier as the more attractive. I prefer a female with meat as opposed to these skinny, flat-chested, long-haired fucking Tales from the Crypt looking women.
Oh, now, Brett, please, tell us how you really feel.
That's my thoughts. Hopefully that doesn't come off completely offensive.
Oh, no, telling a huge group of women that they look like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt? Not fucking offensive at all there, Brett.
I think one of the reasons why, according to statistics and the facts out there, that women don't do too well in atheism is women tend to be superior of the species. They tend to be the intelligent ones.
Oh, shit, when did Steve Shives get here?
Males like to pretend as though they've got the charisma and that they know how to talk and how to run the government and run the shows. But the truth is that the women just let us think that because they sympathize with our and pity us as men.
Oh, man, that's male guilt, white guilt, cisgendered guilt. I mean, holy fuck, that's a whole bunch of fucking guilt right there. All right, Brett Keane, let's just drop the whole Steve Shives act. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but you just said this shit.
She couldn't come up with an idea if it sat on her face and wiggled its balls on her chin. I personally think that she's an upside down mop beanpole. I prefer a female with meat as opposed to these skinny, flat-chested, long-haired fucking Tales from the Crypt looking women.
So don't act like you're some kind of friend of women.
If a woman has a video up, whether she is a Christian or an atheist or not, the males treat the women of atheism and Christian women like absolute fucking shit.
Oh yeah, you know what? I was watching this video just the other day, where a guy did exactly that. I think I got a clip of that.
I prefer a female with meat as opposed to these skinny, flat-chested, long-haired fucking Tales from the Crypt looking women.
Oh shit, that was you!
Almost every atheist I've watched out there tells horrid stories about how their relationships fell apart and how their families don't want to be around them. And of course their audience is never going to imagine that maybe it was their fucking fault in the first place why nobody likes them.
Well, Brett, I guess the women in the atheist movement really need to take a cue from your wife and be able to take a punch like a man. Also, having water-headed kids would help too. They can't hate you, they only love.
I have, however, I've seen a couple women on the internet where you've been mistreated by men and you feel like things have been unfair. You feel like you've had some shit happen in your life due to males, and then you've become a part of the feminist movement. And unfortunately, some of you out there, even though what you're fighting for actually is commendable, some of you have taken it to the extreme, and you blame all men for why it is that the world sucks.
It's really weird that you bring up this whole generalizing aspect, because I was just watching a video the other day where somebody did exactly that. I still have that clip. Can we roll that clip, please?
The hardcore fact is that there's not a lot of women in the atheism movement or group. They're usually older guys or little teenagers and shit like that. There's a few women out there that are popular on the internet.
Yeah, Brett, it was fucking you just like 30 seconds ago. I really don't see how you can flip-flop this much. You flip-flop more than a fish on dry land.
And you're most likely right. But you can't sit there and just simply blame men that you've never even met or know. And I think that's one of the things that atheists are using on you, because the fact that some woman gets up on camera and says that all men are rapists or something like that, are all fucking perverts and shit. Although statistically you might have a point that men are deviants and nasty at times, not all of us are. Not all of us are complete and utter shit.
Yeah, not all of us are complete shit. I mean, it's not like this guy.
I personally think that she's an upside down mop beanpole. She couldn't come up with an idea if it sat on her face and wiggled its balls on her chin. I prefer a female with meat as opposed to these skinny, flat-chested, long-haired fucking Tales from the Crypt looking women.
Oh yeah, wait, that's fucking you. How about we judge people for the reactions that they have, for the actions that they do? How about we judge that shit instead of generalizing the fuck out of people and then just supplementing it with not all. I mean, that's kind of bullshit, generalizing and then saying that you're covered or you're making up for the generalization by putting not all after it is a real bullshit way to argue this. And I've seen it in more places than just Brett Keane here. Keane. A lot of other groups do it. Some groups within the atheist movement who think that there is no atheist movement. That's quite dumb as fuck if you really think about it.
There's an atheist woman out there who's produced a lot of websites and communications. Anita Sarkeesian. She's produced a lot of content out there, and I notice that she's had nothing but bullshit to deal with whenever it comes to non-believers. If she's not getting ragged on by Thunderfoot, she's getting ragged on by the Amazing Atheist.
Oh, hi Steve Shives again. Great to have you back. I'm wondering, can you tell us how we should all feel like shit because we're male?
Any females that have approached me that have been non-believers, You're usually the most pleasant, wonderful, sweetest people that I could meet, along with the Christian women out there, Muslim women, pagan women, Jewish women. And I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart that you have to go through the kind of shit you put up with in your life when it comes to men, as well as the bullshit on the internet.
Again, Brett, don't act like you're some kind of friend to women. If you don't remember at the beginning of the video, you said this shit.
I personally think that she's an upside down mop beanpole. She couldn't come up with an idea if it sat on her face and wiggled its balls on her chin. I prefer a female with meat as opposed to these skinny, flat-chested, long-haired fucking tails from the crypt looking women.
So, Brett, don't sit there and act like you've got their best interests at heart or anything like that. As soon as they do something that you disagree with or you don't like, you're going to turn on them. That's not being pro-woman or being this whole Steve Shives social justice warrior like you want to seem to act like. Thank you for joining me for this particular video. If you will, go down below and hit a like down there. I would love to see this particular video get over maybe 100 or so likes. It would be awesome. But also leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about what Brett is saying here in his internal hypocrisy that apparently he's blind as fuck to. And subscribe if this is your first time here. I will catch you guys in the next video. And hit the DMCA button, basically, which is report, and then report for copyrighted material. But you see, here's the thing about fair use. A lot of stuff has been going on YouTube about fair use.
Especially should the Bible be placed in the hands of the young. It is the best school book in the world. I would that all of our people were brought up under the influence of that holy book. Now, even
They also appeal to past traditions. Traditions like Bibles and